Hi guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and welcome to day 27 of the Cracklathon. And now I'm going to be revisiting day 1's questions, where we used some chroma, crackle and black paint to create a really interesting crackle. A lot of you asked how to keep the blue colour in that crackle, and also if you could seal with resin. So today we are going to be exploring those possibilities. So what I suggested in the comments was that you could use blue paint in replacement of the black, or you could use a mix of paints. So here are the ones that I've chosen to use. Now I've got a metallic here, but you do not have to use a metallic. I would just recommend using purple, black and blue. Give them a bit of a shake. And I'm just going to pour out a fair amount, and we will see if this creates, what we're looking for. Didn't shake that one enough. With the metallic paints you really have to make sure to mix it properly. There we are. I'll clean that up later. Okay, and finally the black. Okay, then you can either use a brush, or I'm just choosing to use my finger to give a nice coat of paint. And I don't mind mixing the colours together so that they're kind of mingled together like so. Little cat hair there. Kit Kat always gets into my work. Okay, and a little bit of the black. And just continue mixing these colours around, and maybe even just dab it around like so, so that you can get different colours really mixing into each other. And then just basically finish off that, and then when you're done, wait until the paint is completely dry, and then we can move on to applying our chroma crackle. Okay, and so here it is. Now I know it looks quite mucky at the moment, but we really wanted that to be all kind of mixed together to create an interesting effect under the chroma crackle. It's not going to look quite the same after we put the chroma crackle on top. So you can use any colours you want, you can paint it any way you want as well. The only thing that I would recommend is using dark colours, because the chroma crackle basically cures to semi-opaque white. And so if you want your colour to show up, it needs to be fairly dark. And now it will go on clear, but once it is fully dried, it should appear white. Okay, and I'm just spreading that across the surface. Now I don't want it to be too thick. I know the tube says about, let's see, what does it say? It says it needs to be at least 1 millimeter thick. I've tried this with less than 1 millimeter thick, and it creates these really beautiful fine cracks, and I really like that because some of the cracks are a little bit too large for my liking. So feel free to go a little bit under 1 millimeter thick and make it thinnish if you want nice fine cracks. Okay, and now I'm just smoothing it out, and I'm also removing quite a bit of that excess chroma crackle, because I don't want it to be too thick. Because the thinner it is as well, the less opaque it gets, which is something that I want. So I'm trying to smooth it out, make it somewhat even. Okay, and then you basically will let that dry. Now you can either let it air dry, which will take about 3 days, or you can choose to use a hairdryer or a heat gun on its lowest heat setting to gently coax it along. would stop about there, leave it for 5 minutes, repeat the process with the heat gun, leave it for 5 minutes, and basically just repeat until it has turned completely white, or at least until it is completely dry and you see that all the cracks have appeared and it starts to curl up and things like that. And then that can take maybe around 4 hours, and then when it is done I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so here is how it looks so far, and now it's not completely dry yet. You can see that the white is starting to progress around the edges, but we still got some translucent areas. Now we're not going to know truly what it looks like until it is baked, so it is dry enough to the point now where we can cut out our pieces and bake them. So I'm just going to take a piece of plain printing paper here, and I'm going to just give it a quick burnish just to make sure that all of those pieces stay down nice and flat. And now I'm going to be using a circle donut cutter. It is my number 3 and it is a size 4 centimeter. Okay, and I'm going to be using 2 because one of them I want to seal with Renaissance wax and another one I want to seal with resin, and we will see the difference. Okay, and I've just burnished the back there, and I'll just give the back a bit of a sand after. Whoops. There we go. I do want to burnish it onto the back. There we go. Alright, now I'm just going to flip that upside down. I'm just going to have a look which side I want. I want to take from this side and that side. Okay, press down, and now the chroma crackle doesn't cut through very well, so you need to just give it a quick twist and it should cut through fairly cleanly. Okay, and there's this one spot here. There we go. And that's fairly normal. Wouldn't worry about it. That will happen with just about any cutter. There we go. So what I like to do is I just like to work around the edge here and then gently burnish and then gently rub around the edges here as well. And then I'll gently press that out. This is the only issue with surface effects. A lot of the time they are a lot more fiddly than crackles that are just clay only. There we are. That came out pretty clean. Flatten that down. Okay, and I know we still got stuff in there, so I'm just going to use a knife to help get rid of that. Because we got some of that the clay cut cleanly, but the crackle we need to just assist a little bit. We can always clean that up in the sanding process, but I like to get rid of as much of that as I can before I bake it, because it's generally easier. And I will make another one of these as well. Okay. There we go. Then just gently press along those sides just to get it nice and neat, and do the same inside here. Press along the sides. And then anything that is left I will just press, and then I will worry about that after it is baked. Okay, then repeat and create another one. Okay, and here's how they look now that I have finished trimming them up. Now I would put them in the oven to bake normally, but I would like you to see the process that they go through in the oven. So I'm going to use a heat gun just to cure the surface so that you can see what it would look like when it goes into the oven. However, this is not a replacement for baking them in the oven, so make sure that you bake them. If you use a heat gun, they still need to be baked for a full hour. Okay, so I'm just going to be using the hot setting on my heat gun, and you can see how they bake. just about it once they are baked. Now I do need to make sure that they cure flat, so I'm just going to gently press on them, because when I use the heat gun they curl a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly cure the back to even it out. Okay, and so you can see it definitely loses a lot of the colour, as you can see here. And as it bakes it will probably lose a little bit more as well, because it has not completely opaque in some areas. But you can see that it looks quite different from the one that we made before. When these are finished and I've finished resining them and everything, I'll bring over the one from day one from the Cracklathon, and we can compare how they look, because hopefully this will provide a bit more colour and a bit more interest. That's what I'm essentially going for. So I'm probably not going to finish these off. I'm not going to spend the time doing that because I don't actually have a specific project in mind. Think of these more as test chips, because we want to see how they look when they are finished resining and varnishing and things like that. And generally I would finish off the sides and everything, give it a good sand, but I'm thinking what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to put the varnish on to see what it looks like, and then I'll put them in my to be finished bucket, and I'll finish them some other time completely. We'll see when they are baked. So anyway, I'm going to go pop these in the oven for a full hour, and we will see how they come out once they are finished baking. Okay, and here they are out of the oven, and you can see that they have lost a little bit of the colour. Here is what they look like when they're before they're baked. You can see that there's quite a huge difference in the colour, but that's something to expect. And then I've just given the backs a quick sand, and I've given the sides a sand as well. Okay, so now one of them is going to be resined and the other one is going to be buffed. So this one's going to be buffed and this one's going to have resin on it. So we're going to start off with that, because that's going to take a little while to cure. So I've got a resin mat here, and I'm going to be using Lisa Pavelka's Magic Gloss. And you can buy that off of Tiny Pandora from Teresa Salgado, and I'll provide a link to that in the description below. And I've got a nice large bottle here because I use it quite a bit, but you can get a nice small bottle as well if you want. Okay, now what I am predicting is that it is going to have a similar reaction to what water would, where it's going to make it darker, but that is just a prediction because this is the first time I'm using resin on it. There shouldn't be any reaction. But I'm not sure how it will affect the crackle. So far it actually looks like it is not affecting it actually, which is interesting. But we will see how it does in the curing process. Okay, I'm just going to apply some more. And this is why I wanted to revisit those comments, because I said I predict that it will have a certain effect, but I like to make sure on that. And as you can see, it doesn't actually react the same way as water would by changing the colour. It looks like it keeps its colour, which is excellent, because then you have a more predictable reaction, which is always nice. And I think the other one, since this has not created a strange reaction, I think instead of buffing it with Renaissance wax, since we have done that in a tutorial already, I'm thinking I'm going to bring over some matte varnish and we will see how it reacts to that. We'll see if we can get a little bit more of that blue paint showing through. Okay, and I've dragged it to almost all of the edges. But you can see using the coloured paint definitely adds more colour, which is nice. Okay, and I do believe that looks all finished. There we are. So that is going to go into the UV light for about... Okay, and I'm going to be using this to seal the other one. And we will see how that reaction goes. This one I'm pretty sure will create a darkening effect, simply because of the fact that it is water based. So we will see how that goes. And this is a good lesson for everybody. If you're playing around with a surface effect that is new to you, and you have not tried all the different varnishes on it, do some test pieces and give it a try with each of your different varnishes, if you have different ones, because each one will have a different effect. Because the Renaissance wax gave a little bit of colour back, but for the most part it stayed pretty white. The resin doesn't actually restore any colour, it stays basically the same. And this one looks like it actually is taking away a lot of that white, and it is restoring it back to what it looks like before. And now I want to see what it looks like when it dries, because I'm presuming that it will bring back a little bit of that white, but it might not. So it's always good to test these things out. So once that is completely dry and the resin is dry, I will show you what the two of them look like. Okay, and here they are dry. So we had some unexpected results. The matte varnish actually, once dry, basically didn't change the chroma crackle. It made it a little bit more translucent. You can see there's a bit more blue around here, but for the most part it made it, it did very little as far as changing. The resin, however, after about 5 minutes in the UV lamp, it actually started to change, and you can see these little white bits around here. That's all that's left of the chroma crackle, and that's the thickest parts where the resin didn't soak in before being cured. So my prediction, my original prediction anyway, is correct. The resin will have the exact same reaction as water will, but the reaction is going to be a lot slower, so don't think that it's not going to react. It will turn it clear. And that might be something that you want, but if it isn't, then you want to avoid using any sort of resin. Maybe go for a gloss varnish first, because as you can see here, it does very little to change the actual effect. So, I do hope that you enjoyed that tutorial. I certainly did enjoy creating it, and it was interesting to see the different results you can get just by changing up the varnish. You can see here how different it looks after I put it back into the original veneer. So be sure to play around with your varnishes, so long as they are polymer clay compatible, and just see how it turns out. You'll probably end up with different results each time, so play around with that. And if this is your favourite crackle, be sure to check out my group Jessama Tutorials Polymer Clay Community on Facebook, as I'll release a poll at the end of the month so that we can vote for our favourite crackle, and the most popular one will get a cool tutorial on it next month. So be sure to vote for whichever was your favourite. And as always, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.